Okay, so this is section 2, a European empire. Your objectives are you should discuss in general the establishment of the Holy Roman Empire and its internal conflicts, and list the basic reasons the German states did not unite until the 19th century. Okay. So we know that Europe has pretty much been a bunch of little kingdoms that are usually kind of feuding with each other, and that's why you have knights and vassals and lords, and it's very, very complicated. In this section, you're going to kind of see what Charlemagne had done, right? When Charlemagne had united all of the Frankish kingdoms, and there had been some unity in Western Europe for a brief period of time. Now we're going to see that unity come back in a few different European states that will become nations eventually, pretty much laying the foundation for modern Europe and what we know today. Okay, so the founding of the German kingdom takes place after the fall of Charlemagne's empire. You have a bunch of local leaders called dukes who are going to end up being the protectors, so they kind of take the place of that lord title in a way, or they're similar to a lord. And they rule like kings in their own territory, and these territories are called duchies. Okay? So now the dukes end up electing their own leader to help protect them from outside attackers after the last of the Carolingian kings has passed on. And the German nobles are going to elect a Saxon. Remember the different barbarian groups? Saxon is one of them. And that duke is named Henry the Fowler. And it's because they find him, when messengers go to find him, tell him that he's going to be pretty much the king. He's out there with his hawks, hunting with hawks. And so that's why he gets the name Fowler. Pretty much Henry allows his dukes to have a decent degree of independence. They're allowed to handle their own business within their own territories as long as they recognize him as king. So, if he needs something, he will be given the respect, and they will recognize his authority as king. What Henry cares more about is strengthening the power of his own territory, his own duchy, not really messing around with the territory of the others, the lower dukes that he rules over. Okay. Significant things about Henry are he's going to help repel raids by different groups in the area. He's going to help expand Germany eastward. And then we have Henry's son, Otto I, who will be known as Otto the Great. He becomes one of the strongest German kings. And now he wants to extend his royal authority over the other duchies more than his father did. So he's going to kind of team up with the church for support to defeat opposing dukes. And the Magyars, which are pretty much, that's modern day Hungary now. They move out of Germany. They go into the lower Danube Valley, and that's the country of Hungary. Okay. So we move into the establishment of the Holy Roman Empire, which you guys are going to want to know that it has been said by Voltaire, a philosopher, that this empire was neither holy, nor Roman, nor an empire. That will be an SRQ question later. So within Italy, you have a bunch of different kingdoms, again, fighting each other. And someone's going to have to bring these kingdoms together in order to establish what we could call an empire. So what happens is you have Otto I crossing the Alps. So the Alps are what would be kind of across the top of Italy there. Where you see it, where it says written Kingdom of Italy in the map, that's where the Alps are. Okay. So he crosses over the Alps from the German Empire. And pretty much he takes all of northern Italy. and proclaims himself king. And then the Pope is going to end up asking him for help, which means that the Pope really becomes like a vassal to Otto the First. And in return for helping the Pope gives Otto the First the emperor's crown, that crown that had been given to people like Charlemagne. And so there's going to be a little bit of a tension that we'll see this build and build and build, until we get into like the history of England and we get to Henry VIII. Okay, between Otto and the Pope, where Otto feels like he has more authority than the Pope, and the Pope doesn't necessarily agree with that. Okay, so the Germany and Italy uniting, that is what creates the Holy Roman Empire. So you'll have questions that are going to ask you, what kind of two nations make up the Holy Roman Empire? And your answer is going to be Italy and Germany. Okay, it's the alliance there between these German kings and the Roman Catholic Church. So there is conflict within this Holy Roman Empire, and they're classified, I think, in 3 different ways in your textbook. So the first is that there is a conflict of interest. You have German rulers that are getting involved with Italian affairs. People will resent that. Otto III will build his palace in Rome because he wants Rome to be the capital of the empire, but he ignores what's going on in Germany. He lets the German nobles pretty much increase their power so much in Germany that he doesn't really have a voice there. Okay, so his authority is weakened because he's more invested in what's going on in Italy rather than in his own homeland. Okay, the second type of conflict is conflict with popes. We've talked about lay investiture before. Remember that says that the civil ruler somehow gives religious authority to the religious rulers. And that's been an issue that the church has been unhappy with, that they've argued about. Remember when we talked about church reform, that lay investiture should not be allowed. We have Henry IV pretty much offending Pope Gregory VII, and having to go stand in the snow barefoot for 3 days. And that's kind of what this picture is. It shows Henry with his wife and his kid, and they're standing outside of the castle, waiting to see the Pope to apologize. It's kind of standing in the snow as a sign of his penance that he feels badly about arguing with the Pope. And finally the Pope accepts Henry's apology. But there's this conflict, right? And we saw too that they kind of came to a compromise over lay investiture with the Concordat of Worms. And remember, Worms is the place where it was signed, not actual Worms. Okay, which said that civil rulers could not give religious authority; they could give civil authority to religious rulers, and that they needed to be present when religious offices were being elected by the cardinals or bishops. Okay,